And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have a magnificent guest with us today, one who is going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than the iconic Lord Roka. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Well, alaikum salam, sir. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. The honor is mine on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast. We want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on the People's Podcast. Um, First of all, congratulations for last year, because as we were just speaking, we need to highlight that more of how
Hmm.
LA, the FOY won the drill competition last year.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
and that needs to be highlighted more. Shout out to the MTS. Well,
Hmm.
let's start with that. How did that come about?
Man, that started off with a great particular brothers just coming together and saying we're gonna drill this year. Shout out to Marquise, brother Marquise Muhammad, who
Yes,
put
sir.
together the whole drill. And at first, I wasn't even gonna drill because I've never drilled before. And he's the one who told me, "No, brother, you could do it. You can make this happen." So shout out to him for putting it together. And he's the one who pretty much put together the whole choreo, the whole drill together.
Yes,
And
sir.
along with brother Salih helped us put it together as well. So shout out to him. And them two brothers just pretty much, spearheaded that drill team and we were able to be successful by the grace of Allah.
Wonderful. Praise be to
Mhm.
Allah. Yes, sir. And my sister
Mhm.
Miriam says ASA family. Alaikum salam, Mimi. Thank you,
Wa alaikum
everybody, for
salam.
being here. Yes, sir. Okay. Well, when did you first know that you had
Mm.
a gift and talent for music?
That's a great question. It kind of runs in my family. My father, he's a bass player.
Okay.
My
Okay.
grandmother was a singer, so it's really started with my father being a musician. Both my parents are from Honduras.
Mm.
So they both speak Spanish. So both were, heavy in the Caribbean culture and the Caribbean dance. So
Okay. Okay.
so they pretty much introduced me to music. My mom, because I predominantly lived with her, she bought, I believe it was 3 albums. She bought the Whitney Houston Bodyguard album soundtrack,
Okay.
the
Respect
Boyz
your
II Men
time.
album,
Yeah.
Tony
Yeah.
Braxton Secrets, and she bought the Bee Gees, greatest hits, and those four
Okay.
albums.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. She played in rotation at the house when I was young, and I was like, okay, I like the way this sounds. I want to get into music, and since I'm such a big hip hop head, people don't think that those R&B albums or disco records pretty much got me into music. So that's how that happened.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, speaking of your music, where can we listen and how can we support?
Yes, for sure. You can go to Lord Rocka one bandcamp.com. That's Lord Rocka dot bandcamp.com. And all my music is on there. Of course, I'm on YouTube as well. I'm on Apple Music as well. Lord Rocka, Lordroka.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And what advice would you give to up and coming artists?
Keep writing, keep doing what you're doing. Keep perfecting your craft. Read books, watch movies, watch lectures. You're gonna find that you can be inspired by a lot of different things. You can go watch plays. I've done that before.
Yes, sir.
Just try to inspire yourself as much as you can, because your inspiration is not just gonna come from listening to other people's music. It can come from different things. So that's my biggest advice. Continue to get inspired, because it's also so easy to get uninspired and discouraged, and you're gonna be like, me might get up one day and say you don't want to do this no more. Give yourself some time. Sometimes you need to step away from the music to go do something else. Read a book. Do something different, and you'll find your inspiration there, because you'll be surprised how many times I didn't came up with a record or wrote a something in the studio that had nothing to do with music. I was watching the lecture, I was at a play, I was re reading a book, so a lot of my inspiration comes from things outside of music. So that's why that would be my advice.
Excellent. Yes, sir. Great advice.
Yeah.
Naima says, I snake family. Islam Naima. Thank you, everyone who's watching, and shout out to everybody, our YouTube family as well. Sister Auntie, Brother Hope. Brother Damon. Hey, ASA Soldiers. Like Islam, Damon. David, welcome back, man. Thank you, everybody who's watching. Yes, sir. Okay, my next question for you is,
Mhm.
what has been your favorite place to perform or your favorite performance?
My favorite place to perform. I say my favorite time to perform is when I'm with Salam Nation and we're opening up
Okay.
for Freddie Gibbs or we're opening up for Jay Electronica. My favorite show
Okay.
was when we opened up for Jay Electronica in San Diego and in West Hollywood. Those are my favorite times to perform when I'm with the Brotherhood. The Brotherhood comes out, Sisterhood comes out, everybody comes out, and we get to be among celebrities and things of that nature because they think because you're a Muslim that you don't you're so reserved and you're so in the box, but they don't know Muslims know how to have fun too. So shout out to Jay Electronica who showed a lot of love to the LA Brotherhood and brought us on stage and showed us around. So yeah, we dominate the streets and the industry wherever the Muslims are. We dominating it. Believe that. So that's a real thing. So shout out to
Yes, sir.
Salam Nation. Shout out to everybody that's listening right now. I'm taking any questions. If anybody has any questions in the inbox or anything like that, they can toss it to you and I'll answer them. So yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay, great. Okay, I didn't know. First of all, shout out to Jay Electronica.
Hmm.
Always showing love. And Freddie Gibbs. Freddie Gibbs is one of my favorite artists. Man, holding it down. Yes, sir. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
when you all perform, what's some of like the greatest joy about your performances? Is it the feat? Is it the actual crowd going back and
Mhm.
forth with you? Is it just you being in your zone? Let us know.
It's everything. Being in the zone, the feedback from the crowd, the fact that we're yelling out Farrakhan, Salam Nation, Allah Akbar, and they're like, yeah, and it's not just black people there, it's Hispanics there, there's white people there, and they're getting exposed to Islamic culture in hip hop, Islam in hip hop, and not knowing that they've loved Islam and hip hop. The whole time they've been in love with hip hop. The whole time Islam ain't never went nowhere. It's been there. They just didn't, either weren't it wasn't in their face enough, and that's why especially the brothers who are in Islam, the people want to see you because they're tired of the BS that's happening in the industry anyway. So they want to see something new. So we got to stay in front of the people. But they love hip hop and Islam the whole time. They just never really we've never got a chance to see it ourselves. But so that'd be the greatest thing when we're at these shows and they're rooting us on and the believers is there and the lost founders is there and they still love it. Like it's, been there the whole time.
Wonderful. All praise
Yes,
be to
sir.
Allah. Yes, sir. Well, speaking of Islam, when was the first time that you heard the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Man, interesting story. So I was at man, I love telling this story. I was with a friend of mine named Will B. Shout out to Will B.
Okay.
He's in Las Vegas. I was with him and we were discussing how we wanted to work on a new project. And he had a book on his shelf and it was Message to the Black Man. And I looked at it and I was like, what's Message to the Black Man? And he was like, oh, my neighbor, he was a Muslim and he passed away and he left me this book. And I said, man, you mind if I get it and I read it? And he was like, yeah, go ahead. So I took it. I read Message to the Black Man. I love what I read. Like anybody who just comes into the nations and the teachings, they're a little iffy about what they read and they're either scared, shocked, or don't know how to respond when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is saying that the white man is the devil. So just like that, I was curious and I was like, man, I want to know more about this stuff. So I go on Facebook. So I'm on Facebook and I noticed that I'm friends with a sister named Morgan X. Shout out to Sister Morgan. So Sister Morgan X out of St. Louis, I DM'd her and I was like, hey, I'm reading this book, Message to the Black Man. I want to know more about Islam. Can you tell me where your mosque is? And she tells me, I'm not in LA, I'm in St. Louis, but my cousin, Brother Kareem, he's in LA. I'll shoot him a message and I'll tell him to hit you up. So a couple of days later, he hits me up and he said, hey, come down to the mosque. We're on 54th and Crenshaw. And I said, all right, cool. I don't come for like the first 2 weeks. And he's like, come on, this Sunday, you got it. So every weekend, close to the weekend, he kept telling me, come to the mosque. On the third weekend, I was like, you know what, Kareem, I'm gonna come through. He's like, come through. It's youth night. I mean, youth Sunday. Brother named Brother Marquise is gonna be teaching. You're gonna love it. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'll come. So I came through, and I stood up that day, brother. That was September 2009,
Hmm.
and that's when I stood up hearing Brother Marquise, and I tell him all the time, give him a big hug all the time. I said, brother, it wasn't until I heard you teaching the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad through the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that I was like, whoa, I want to be a part of this brotherhood. And I was 21 years old at the time. So yeah, that's how I pretty much came into the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Yes, sir.
All praise to Allah. Okay, bro, Marquise
Yeah.
holding it down. Yes,
Oh yeah,
sir.
for sure. For sure.
Excellent guy. And he's always been one of my favorite representatives speaking, especially when we were all, the youth movement and during that time period. Marquise was on fire. He was holding it down. So yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And again, it
Hey,
started with reading. It started with me reading a book. That's why I encourage everyone to read. And that's why we have the picture of Master Farad Muhammad looking down at the book, encouraging us to read. That's the message behind that photo. So yes, sir.
excellent. And how did your family and friends feel once you accepted the teachings?
Like most stories, you hear people, because I'm the first person in the Nation of Islam in my family. And then I realized later I had a cousin in the Nation of Islam. Shout out to brother Vincent 2X. He's in the Nation of Islam, and I found him. He ended up being my cousin. So, but inside my immediate family, I'm the first one in the Nation of Islam, and like anything, there were uh, you know, we've been Catholics our whole lives. They've never seen or heard of Islam ever, and we've been in Los Angeles for the past 20 some years. So, of course, when they see my example, I started cleaning up and falling back on my bad habits. They're like, man, like Danny's really cleaning up. He looks younger than all of us, and he's walking the right path. Wow, I want to see what this is about. So, my two young brothers, they came into the teachings and started reading the books as well. So,
So,
they're so my family said eventually because of the work and because of what they see me doing, and now they're just they know that I don't have to force them to come to the mosque. I'd be like, let's go to the mosque this week, and they'd be like, all right, let's go.
yeah.
So it's because of everything they see me doing, and of course, as recently I won the drill competition, and they were excited about that. And
Yes,
no one in
sir.
my family has ever drilled before, so yeah, that was the first time for everything right there.
All praises due to Allah. Excellent.
Okay.
Great testimony.
Forgive me if I'm long-winded, brother. I could.
Oh no, man, that's what we
Yeah.
need. We need the
Okay.
content. Yes,
Okay.
sir. This is the Sharon says, ASA Alaikum Salam, man, Ramadan Mubarak, Ramadan Kareem, and Ramadan Mubarak to everyone who's watching all around the world. Shout out to all the believing and fasting family, people everywhere. Peace. All right, I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you, what has been your greatest trial and how have you overcome that trial?
My greatest trial. My greatest trial probably has been consistency
Mm,
because I wasn't born in the nation. I came in the nation at 21 years old, so a lot of you could say bad habits from the time when I wasn't in the nation still lingered on while I was in the nation. So the nation's still shaping me and making me into a stronger man. So to those who are hesitant to come in the nation because you feel, oh man, I'm not all the way ready. Um, you probably will never be ready. This thing is a rotating struggle. You're always gonna go through something. You're always gonna battle something. That's what this is all about. So I'm still that was the thing. Um I had a bad problem with cussing all the time, so I had to slow down on that. So it's just
same
a
here,
little
same
little stuff. Little stuff, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I could go overboard on the pies and eat too much. Little stuff, man. You know what I'm
here.
saying? It's things that you're gonna just go through. You can't run away from it. So small stuff. But other than that, I think Islam, because Islam provides the discipline to get back on track. We always got inspiring word from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. We got inspiring word from the ministers across the nation of Islam, the young
Right,
believers, the believers who've been around for years. There's always knowledge and wisdom pouring out of the nation of Islam to help you with whatever impediment you may be dealing with.
that's right.
And that's why, man, it's such a beautiful brotherhood and family that we have because whenever you're going through something, there's always someone you can lean on that can either been through something you've been through or been through worse than what you've been through. So shout out to my brotherhood all across the nation, but particularly Mos 27. They've
Yes,
never
sir.
let me go. They've never let me go. I've been missing for days. I've come in and out. I stayed consistent. They always got the same love. It don't switch. It's always, how you doing, brother Danny? X, I love you. It's always hugs. I love that song. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. I love it. You know what I'm saying? I've never been a part of nothing like that before. So I'm going on at least 14, 15 years of being in the nation. And I have nothing but good to say, you
All
know.
praise to God. Go
Yes, sir.
ahead. Thank you
Yes,
very
sir.
much. And shout out to the West Point MTS, last number 27, holding it down. Yes, sir.
Yes,
What
sir.
has been your greatest joy in life?
Greatest joy. Being able to be alive and be a believer.
Hmm.
You know, I notice so many people who go throughout this life and never know who God is, never know who they are, never know who the messenger is, you know. That's probably my greatest joy, just being a believer, having a chance every day to wake up and believe in these teachings, you know. Because now I can pass it on to my brotherhood, my family, my son, you know. That's the greatest joy. As long as I'm alive to read and learn, that's the greatest joy, you know. Because for so long, you know, we um grew up, you know, if you didn't have these teachings, you thought that if you die, you go to heaven, you know, and there's this great life after this life. And you know, when I came into the teachings and I'm being taught that you got this one life, after this, it's over with. It's like, whoa, let me get myself together right now, you know. So um you know, but prior to that, I was living recklessly because I'm thinking, hey, something happened to me. I ain't tripping. I wasn't that bad. I'll go to heaven and just chill with Jesus. I ain't tripping. I'll be out there cooling. You know, with Tupac and Biggie and with Marvin Gaye and everybody else. But, you know, that definitely is not the truth. You got to live life right now and enjoy it to the best of your ability.
Okay, teacher Laura. And
Yes,
speaking of,
sir.
will you ever go into the ministry?
Man, you know, my captain just jammed me up last weekend. He said, Brother Danny, you need to be teaching. You need to be teaching. You know, you've been in the
Mm-hmm.
nation 15 years. So shout out to Captain Haleen, who
Yes,
jammed
sir.
me up last weekend and telling me that I need to be in the ministry. So, you know, I'm just happy that the brotherhood think that much of me, to think that I should be in front of the believers, which is not an easy task to teach, you know, but this is all the experience that I'm gaining is for a reason. And just it's not just for me, it's for the believers. Every believer, Allah, I believe, puts something in every believer to give to other people. People who are not believers, people who are believers, you have something to give. And that's why I thank Allah for you, brother, and this platform, because you know, you giving us an opportunity to express ourselves and express things that we probably hold inside that we know, because everybody who's a believer has the potential to be a minister. You know, you may not be a minister over the rostrum, but you may be the minister of music, you may be the minister of art, you may be the minister of social media. Everyone has a position in the Nation of Islam.
That's right.
So I thank you, brother, for being the minister of social media and podcasting and information, brother. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? You on your duty, and I thank Allah for you because you showing that, you know, there's one different methods to get into the people. It's not just one. You know, and that's definitely not putting down anybody who teaches over the rostrum. Oh my God, we need that, you know, for
Yeah,
sure. For sure, for sure, you know. So yeah, thank you. And then another thing I wanted to share with you is that I've seen, of course, I'm a fan of the show, and I've seen other brothers and sisters being interviewed on your show, and everybody may not get a chance to write a book to tell about their experiences, but they have this platform of yours where they're able to tell their story, and it's somewhat like a book, but it's a visual book, it's an audio book. You get what I'm saying? That could be shared over and over and over again. That's the power of social media. And thank Allah for you, brother, for allowing people to write their book.
Praise be
You
to the
know,
Lord.
so we may able to look at it, because you know, when one of us pass away, um, like that African proverb says, it's just like another library that gets burnt down
That's right.
because no one's there to pass on, you know, their story if they don't tell it. So thank you for allowing us to tell our story, brother. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Laura. Yes, sir. It means a lot to
Yes,
me.
sir.
Thank you a lot.
Yes,
So,
sir.
like I said, teach all facts. Thank you all very much. We have a few more questions for our brother Laura Rocca. Please let us know your questions and comments. We have a quick 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. 1 second. Thank you all very much. And we're coming right back to our brother, Laura Rocket.
Book and coloring book, and now Spanish. All three available on Amazon.com. Sister Naima's Stay on Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country, right here in the studios of Atlanta. Student Minister Sharif Muhammad's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, available on adulsharif.com. And lastly, Brother Joshua Muhammad's book, Cleopatra, as well as No Father, No Excuse, both available on Amazon.
Excellent. All right.
Wonderful,
All right,
wonderful.
boom. Yes, sir. Okay,
Yes.
we're right back. I wanted to know about fear, sir. Have you ever
Yeah.
been faced with fear? And if so, how have you overcome that fear?
Oh man, prayer is the way I overcome the fear. And um, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said something so beautiful that I always try to remember, and I'm probably paraphrasing, but you never want to run away from your problems. You want to run to them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that's what I strive to do is to run towards my problems. If I'm fearful of it, say my prayers to Allah and run to my problem, and you're gonna learn something. And every time I run into a problem and I'm fearful of it, I say my prayer and I run to it. And I always learn something and I always come out victorious at the end because I put my trust in Master Farad Muhammad. So, yeah, fear is too. It's fear is I don't really trip off fear. It's something that is part of life. And, you're always going to learn something from it whenever you are faced with it, you know. Truth is
Yes,
nothing
sir.
without opposition. Without opposition, you can't even know who you really are. It's kind of like being a boxer. You shadow box all you want, but until you get in front of an opponent, you really don't know how good you are.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So look at it that way, and I pray Allah that it helps you. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Yes,
So now
sir.
I see Captain Halim jammed you up. Yes, sir. You got to teach. You got
Yeah.
to.
Oh yeah, definitely. Shout out to
Yes, sir.
Captain
Okay.
Ali.
Yes, sir. So I wanted to ask you about. First of all, I want to make sure that we let you know that we salute you and your artistry, your music for
Yes,
Laura
sir.
Rocket, but also
Hmm.
Salam Nation. Because
Hmm.
before I knew who Laura Rocket was individually, all I kept hearing about was Salam Nation,
Hmm.
and um, through my brother, and he was like, "Oh, bro, you got to hear about Salam Nation. You got to hear about Salam Nation. You got to hear about him."
Yeah.
So, what upcoming projects do you all have?
Okay, so shout out to Salam Nation, all the brothers in Salam Nation, Huso Mansa, Holy, Oh God, Yusuf, Rich, our manager Nate, Nathan Muhammad. So right now, we're working on a soundtrack for a movie.
Mm,
For a movie I worked on called The Big Picture, starting Omar Gooding and Robert Richards. So right now that's what we're working on. We're heavy now on trying to do music for movies, and also we still have a project in the cut that we ain't released yet. And that's coming hopefully this summer. And we still around, we're still individually working on music. But right now I'm taking the group to another direction to see where we can plug in our music more besides on streaming platforms. We're trying to expand a little bit. So yes, that's our next move.
praise be so. Yes, sir. I just want to make sure you all know I'm a creator, bro. I'm an actor. I'm
Mhm.
a writer. I got some things working. We got to make sure we
Oh
collaborate.
yeah, for sure,
Yes,
brother.
sir. Yes,
Anything you want
sir.
to work on and you need help with, holler at me. That's what I do when I'm not doing music. I'm working on movies. I'm also a casting director.
Okay. Okay.
I have my own casting company called Star and Crescent Castings. Anybody who wants to get into acting, follow it on Instagram at Star and Crescent Castings. And let's work.
Yes, sir. That's what I like to
Yeah.
hear. I
Yes,
want to
sir.
ask you. We ask every guest, but we got to ask especially the artist. What is your
Hmm.
favorite album of all time, sir?
What is the favorite album all time?
Yes, sir.
Oh man, I don't have one. I don't
Okay.
have one. There's so many. Are we talking hip hop or we just talking? What are we talking?
Man, whatever. I mean, you went with BG's and
Yes,
Bodyguard. So
yes.
let's go. Let's go.
Oh
Man.
man,
Let's go.
favorite album of all time. Okay, so I gotta say Jay-Z, The Blueprint.
Great one.
Um, Marvin Gaye, I Want You album. and What's
Okay,
Going On.
okay.
Marvin
Yes,
Gaye
sir.
and What's Going On. Nas album. People, you know what's so crazy? When people mention Nas, they never mention this album, the Entitled album, where he has the end on his back.
Of course, of
That's
course.
one of my greatest albums of all time. What else? Those are only four that stick out to me right now. That I had in rotation. But these are albums that I have in rotation for years. That's what I think is should be considered the greatest, where you got to study it over and over again. You're like, wow, how did he say that?
Yes,
What made
sir.
him say that? Like, it
Yes,
makes you
sir.
want
Yes,
to
sir.
wonder about the lyrics and the way it was produced. So yeah, those top four. See, Blueprint, Marvin Gaye, 2 albums, and then Nas. So that's four. Yes, sir.
Four great ones. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
four
sir.
great ones. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Once again, how can we get in contact with Lord Rocket? How can we support you? The website one more time.
Yes, sir. The website for the music is Lord Rocka one, the number one, .period, bandcamp.com. That's Lord Rocka one, period, bandcamp.com for the music. I'm also on YouTube and Apple Music. Also Salam Nation at Salam Nation on YouTube and on Instagram. You could also reach me again if you're trying to get into acting at Storm Crescent Casting on Instagram. And yeah, that's the way to reach me.
Yes, sir. Well, I
Yes,
want
sir.
you to know that we're rooting for you. May Allah continue to bless you and all of your endeavors. Let's make sure that all the creatives around the nation stay connected, because everybody's one person away from needing the opposite. Like, listen, everybody, we can just be this close to taking off, and if we
Right.
all, man, help each
Man,
other out.
thank you.
Yes, sir. So you got
Thank
a
you for
platform
for
right
being
here.
thank you for being that bridge, brother, because that's what we need. We just need someone to connect the other person with the other person. And there's so many great talented people across the nation that some of us don't even know that I didn't know that brother did that, or I didn't know that sister did that. So, continue to connect us, because at the same time, we have so many more talented people coming in the nation that does this and does that. And, we're giving birth to new gods every time, and they do so many great things. So thank you for putting me in a Rolodeck of numbers and, social media. You can reach out to me, brothers and sisters. I'm open. I'm in the DMs, whenever. I don't turn down my family, especially my nation family. Y'all know, y'all can hit me up anytime. Y'all need tickets to the show. We opening up for Jay Elect or Ready Gibbs. You can hit me up. I look out for the believer. They get free tickets or low cheap tickets. The tickets be like $50. You get them for 20. Come on now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I look out for my family. So reach out to your brother.
Listen, that's what it's all about. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam. Peace.
Thank you all for watching.